presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joey Pride.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have one hell of a spooky episode in the store for you. But before we get to all these spookiness, Jonathan Day, how the hell are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just trying to figure out the streaming stuff. But yeah, excited to be on here for our episode 201. We had our 200th episode last week, which was super cool. We got Andrew and Simon to join us from Blind Issues. And yeah, it was super cool. I really had a good time doing that. And I can't believe we've reached 200, now 201.
That's pretty fucking wild, isn't it? This has just been something where, we're just trying to keep in touch and keep creating together while living apart. So it's been nice that we've gotten to do it over 200 times. I don't think I've had sex 200 times in my life. So it's really cool that we've gotten to do something so pleasurable 200 times. Pretty great.
Yeah, why not?
Pretty great.
Pretty great, right?
Yeah. Very nice. So you're good. Everything's good? How's it on your end? Is it good?
Everything's good.
That's good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, everything's all good, guys. Yeah, just pretty excited to start streaming, and I don't know if this is the new format of our show, but we're willing to try it out and see what's up. And I thought the reception was pretty cool last time, so
yeah,
why not, guys?
That was fun. Yeah, it was a bit different, but and we went a bit long, but it was our 200th. We had to go a bit long. I think we went 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
we
potty
breaks.
A lot of interesting topics. No potty breaks. And yeah, hats off to Andrew and Simon for sticking in there and really kind of making it a fun show. And we had some interesting topics. We had like Chappelle Show episodes. We had like the dark web.
Green Day songs. We did talk about the fucking dark web. Adam Sandler. We touched on a lot. It's a good listen. You should listen if you haven't listened. You should watch if you haven't watched, because we can do that now. We're on. I'm gonna say it at the top of the hour. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're now on Twitch. We're on Apple Music. We're on Google Play. We're on SoundCloud. We're still working on Spotify.
Spotify, yeah, getting the Spotify.
We're gonna get there. Okay, we're not there yet, but we're gonna get there, guys. Which means if you have a Hulu account, someday you'll be able to listen to us on Spotify. It's wonderful. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, man, I would love to get rid of Hulu. I'd love to kind of get rid of some streaming services because I hardly put on any. But my Hulu I have tied to my Spotify account. I don't want to get rid of Spotify, so I'm getting a 2 for anyway. So that's like the free one, but that's the one I wouldn't get rid of. Although I don't really watch Netflix anymore, but every once in a while Netflix drops something where I'm like, I need that. So
yeah, it's
and they just did away with free subscription.
Oh, interesting.
Or like a free trial period. Netflix did away with it.
Trial run.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember when like those streaming services were like beta. Like I remember when Hulu was like beta and it was like free to sign up. They didn't have like much on there. And then, Netflix was like, it's like the, you get your DVDs in the mail and then that was it.
Well, the whole idea of being a cord cutter it was so foreign to people. It was so like, what? You don't have cable? You have a dish? No, man. Like, why would I pay for all that? But now, as it's, the streaming wars we've entered, it's getting to be even pricier than that. It's like, fuck, it would be kind of cheaper to go back to cable. And it would be kind of nice to just throw on the TV and have something already in motion, already going. Like Goodfellas is like the perfect cable TV movie of like, oh, I just throw it on and I change the channel and I'm funny how, and like, well, I guess I'm planning my ass for the next 2.5 hours. I'm watching the rest of this movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I kind of miss those days. Yeah, you don't get that with streaming, and you don't.
Yeah, you're sitting there kind of like, what do I watch now? Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Although I have been watching a lot of shows, so I guess my HBO Now, I think, or HBO Max is kind of like what I'm watching most stuff on, because there's just some shows I'm just kind of getting into in there. But it's funny when you start doing that and you kind of like stick to one streaming platform. It's like all the other ones are kind of like, just on the side. And it's like, oh man, I keep forgetting like, oh yeah, I'm paying for all these things like every month.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to get to a point where like streaming and all your streaming services that just add up, and it just probably has cost as much as maybe cable TV in a way. So, but it's the exclusivity, right? That's what's kind of the thing now is with streaming, right? Like, yeah. Especially properties like moving like from one platform to the other, and like I'm sure there's a lot of different like contractual stuff happening there.
I mean, as gamers, we've kind of been dealing with that on a small scale, with certain games being exclusive to certain consoles, and oh man, I'm a Sony guy, so I'll never get to play Halo and that kind of thing. But I don't know, watching something feels, it's like, man, and when the streaming service doesn't work out, like the DC Universe app, all that content is now over on HBO Max, and so I'd be kind of bummed if I had actually signed up for DC and been like, hey, no, and then everyone's got it. Well, fuck,
I mean, and it's a thing too, is like even on HBO Max, like all the DC, there's not all of the DC stuff on there. It's kind of the same like story for like Disney Plus. I think they're eventually, they're gearing up for Mandalorian season 2, and then all the like I guess the Marvel TV shows. I'm kind of stoked for Mandalorian season 2, and it'd be something to watch weekly, I guess.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Not at all.
Disney Star Wars is just a limp dick as far as I'm concerned. I'm so sorry to use such coarse language and such a coarse analogy, but really, I mean, I feel nothing.
No, you're good, dude.
I feel nothing for Disney Star Wars, and it breaks my heart. Because we were swept up in the magic of going to see The Force Awakens in theaters when the Millennium Falcon was on screen and the John Williams score kicked in. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
That was a feeling and a moment that the prequels never gave us. And then
it's pretty epic
to see it just kind of, oh wow, there's no plan. Oh my God, we're just faster. Palpatine has a costume change because of the Force? What?
Yeah. And
anyway,
I was reading that like they released like an official like thing on, or it's like a book or something, or oh shit. 3 Friends. What's up, 3 Friends?
Yes, hello, 3 Friends. Is that all the 3 Friends?
It's just a movie, Joey.
It's not just a movie, man. Well, no, it is just a movie. But like to fuck it up that badly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? What's up, Mick? Mick, you want to jump on? You want to jump on to our show?
You should. Why not?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Shawnee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Cool.
Give me 1 second. I think I have. Let's see here. 1 second. Oh God. Oh. Let me see if I can.
Guys, this is amazing. This is gonna be fun.
You guys don't see that.
Is it your dirty underwear?
Okay, let's see. Mickey. Oh yeah, this is. I'm like.
Oh, now everyone's gonna get to see, huh?
Go. Okay, Mickey. Here we go, man. We're gonna get you on our show.
Tight. This is fun. We can do things like this now.
Oh, Mickey, can you do me a big favor? Just put in the. Actually, I don't want to. Joey, can you do me a favor? Can you send me Mickey's? I think I might have his email. Oops, I just took a screenshot. You can throw it in the chat or the Zoom chat. I
just sent it on your email.
Oh, this is gonna be so exciting! We got a
great.
guest on. You're awesome. Thank you, dude.
Uh-huh.
Mickey, we got a topic for you. Hopefully say hopefully you'll indulge.
Man, we've got two, I think, pretty good topics to discuss tonight. I'm very excited.
Mickey, I love your yeah. It's got a theme to the month, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're going for.
All right, here we go, man. I'm gonna send you a little invite. Sorry if you guys are getting like windows in the middle of the thing.
I'm stoked.
Love the email address, by the way, Mickey.
Who isn't?
Okay, Mickey, you're gonna get a Zoom invite from us, and then just let me know, or it should show me. Dude, this is awesome.
This is, technology, folks.
Yeah,
technology kids. Yeah, on
Special
the
guest
spot.
Appearance.
On the spot guests. This is great.
Well, I think that's what we hope for, right?
Yeah, we want to. I think the idea is to probably open up the show.
How are you doing this week, man?
I'm doing. It's been a little stressful this month.
Yeah,
it's been good, but it brings back a lot of bad sometimes, but that's okay. Let's see. It was my father's birthday on Friday. The man turned 60. I'm very proud of him, and then wound up just kind of randomly.
Okay.
Yeah. Wound up having the day off Monday, and it was my lady's birthday on Monday, so we went, got a little place in Carmel, and my parents were there, so got to see them a little bit. It's been good, man. It's been good. Mickey, what up?
Hey, boys.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Pardon me. I look like a maniac. I'm going.
No, you
I'm
look
going
awesome.
Pouring crazy.
What's up?
I love it. Thank you for joining us.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thank you for
You're
having
good.
me. I have to mute the Twitch here.
Oh,
there's a weird delay on Twitch.
Just a little bit,
We might have
right?
a little lag.
Yeah.
You guys might be a little by. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
just
just
have to
gotta-
not pay attention to it.
You just got to bend your knees and kind of move with it.
What's up,
That's what I've
Mickey?
been
Oh, we
doing.
got one of the 3 friends in here.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Doing
Thanks for having me
well.
on.
Thank you for jumping on. This is so much fun. This is great. I'm so excited.
Good, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we're just yeah.
How are you doing, Mickey? How's everything with you?
I'm doing all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular or out of the ordinary, really. Just growing my beard out.
I love it.
Let
Looks
my
good.
hair hang. Doing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I see that.
all around a good length. Like the beard is a good length with the hair, and you know what I mean. Like it looks of a
Thank you.
piece.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
So what's on the docket tonight?
Oh man. So yeah, shall we? You guys want to get some lists? You want to do this? Want to do this right now?
Ooh.
All right.
All right. Because pop culture news, I couldn't think of it.
let's do some
hold on, real
lists,
quick.
y'all.
Real quick. I did see some behind the scenes photos, some set photography of the Batman.
Are you talking the live action Lego Batman that's going on right now?
Wait, excuse? Oh, with the
with the robe on.
Yes, that's fantastic. No, I was thinking about the outside. It looks like they're all at like a funeral. And there's some set photos, so this might be minor spoilers. I apologize if anyone's trying to avoid it. But we see Robert Pattinson, we see Zoe Kravitz, we see Colin Farrell that you wouldn't recognize. I think we saw John Turturro. And I don't know if you guys have heard this rumor. The rumor that I've heard in some circles is that Robert Pattinson did not get COVID-19. He actually just showed up to set and had not worked out at all and looked so skinny that Matt Reeves was pissed and sent him home and shut down production. That he's been very difficult to work with.
Oh man.
Looking at these set photos, that dude doesn't look like he could beat up some criminals. He doesn't look like Vengeance. And I haven't been a fan of the way they've made Bruce Wayne look in the first trailer, but I'm just curious what you guys think, if you think there's any validity to those rumors. I think Zoe Kravitz looks amazing. I think Penguin looks amazing. I peep someone who looks like Jefferson Edward Skeevers, if you know your year one Dark Victory lore. So it's kind of exciting. I am excited for this movie, but I'm back and forth on Pattinson. I was like all gung ho for it, and now I'm like, he looks. Both him and Kravitz kind of look like I don't know, junkies. But
Yes. I do think he was sick.
Okay.
I don't think he was very sick, but I think that he probably was testing positive. Yeah, I mean, I think that way too much has been made of whether or not he's going to bulk up. People get really freaked out when he said that he wasn't worried about bulking up, and ultimately, I don't really care. It's like it's not like Michael Keaton was particularly buff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does look. It is a strange look for Bruce in this movie, but that's not on him. That's a creative choice that they made. The whole look of this movie is really, really odd. It's somewhere between Burton and Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that's most exciting to me is just like everybody looks weird. The city looks weird, but also like real. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this movie's going to go for sure.
I'm excited for it. I definitely got the Seven vibes I've been hearing about it in the first trailer. I was like, that's cool. And I loved seeing Batman in a room full of cops.
Yeah, that was interesting just to see him just looking at the crime scene.
Mm-hmm. Very into that. Very. I'm excited for this movie. I'm like, I mean, when there's really nothing else to kind of nitpick and talk about. It's interesting that this is all we've got right now in terms of like movie news and things.
Oh, there's a lot going on. Like Spider-Man just started filming as well.
Oh, with Tom Holland?
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 started filming today.
Oh, and wow. So, I didn't realize.
So there's been a lot of news on that front. Of course,
I've been hearing about
Jamie Foxx and Benedict Cumberbatch joining the cast.
And I heard that they're trying to get Toby and Andrew Garfield to come.
We'll see. I don't know. Sounds like sounds fan fiction-y, but also like I do expect it to happen at some point. I just don't know if it's going to happen right now. I think it's sounding like it's going to be One More Day to me.
Oh no, really?
Well, it won't be like in the comics. It can't be. It's doesn't have the same continuity and build up. But I think that just like the basic idea of the public knowing who he is being erased, like he's going to have to make some sacrifice to get his secret identity back. I think that's probably going to be the what's going on in this one.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but the inclusion of Jamie Foxx is like really confusing the entire thing.
And playing the same character, but not the same version of the same character, right? He was like, I'm not going to have blue skin and all that kind of stuff. That's wild.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we kind of got that with Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. She was Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, was she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Oh, that's
pretty wild, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shawnee, do you know about the One More Day storyline in the Spider-Man comics? Shawnee?
I don't actually know. And I apologize, guys. I might be a little delayed.
No, you're fine. You're
so
fine.
My responses might be a little crazy.
You're good.
Sorry.
Just to kind of get you up to speed a little bit, no pun intended, with the lag.
This is our second time streaming, so...
So after the Civil War in the comics, Spider-Man had exposed his identity to the world to kind of stand behind Tony Stark. Then Tony Stark and him got into it. He joined Captain America's side. He wore the black costume. Aunt May got shot by an assassin, I believe hired by the Kingpin, I think.
Yes.
And then so he made a deal with Mephisto, who's kind of Marvel's answer to the devil. And he was like, I want the most pure thing in the world. I want your marriage. And so him and Mary Jane have no recollection of being married. People have no idea he's Spider-Man. Harry Osborn was brought back from the dead. Really weird. And it's never been corrected, right?
No, it's been a long time now.
Yeah, that was 2008.
Yeah, it was a big retcon because they realized they made a mistake and had to set things back to the status quo. And I mean, that would be happening in the movies too. It would be going back to a status quo that the MCU has never had. So it'd be going to like a traditional Spider-Man that they've never had before, which is like a weird way to get there. But I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. But one of the reasons that it's didn't really work in the comics is you're going to get rid of your entire life to save like an 85-year-old woman. You know, like that was like one of the things. It's like Aunt May has been on death's door since like 1964. So it's like what are they like?
And she has died a couple times.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Now, I mean, maybe they could do that in the new movie. Maybe if May dies, that makes it a little more. She's not an ancient woman. You know, it makes it a little more palatable. But at the same time, what's he going to give in return? So right. I mean, I guess it would mean losing, you know, his friends wouldn't know who he was, and he'd be losing his status as an Avenger, and maybe all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but I mean, smarter people than me are going to be writing it. So,
but I think you're right. That's kind of all we have for this iteration of Spider-Man is his desire to be an Avenger. It's more than his love for Zendaya. It's more than, you know, keeping Aunt May safe or anything like that. So.
Because I mean, those things he hasn't really had to worry about those things.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
I imagine him. Because I have nothing to do in my life but think about Spider-Man pretty much all the time. So I've been imagining that the movie will probably start with him like getting his ass handed to him really badly while he's out of costume, and realizing that he has to do something about it. He goes to Strange, who tells him, "I can take care of it, but you know, here are the consequences." So he decides not to do it, and then something really bad happens in the third act where he realizes he has to make the sacrifice. I'm assuming that it'll be something like that.
Yeah,
that's a great call. I read some fan theory about how they're like, oh, if Tobey and Andrew Garfield do come back, it'll be Tobey who has to like sacrifice himself.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if they do a live action Spider-Verse, which I think is probably only a matter of time, because I think that there's ways that it really benefits both Sony and Marvel. But I imagine like, if they focus on the three Peters, they can give like a goodbye to Tobey. And then I imagine if they can also bring in Miles and Gwen, then they can set them up in the MCU. Then Sony can take them and do whatever they want with them. And they'll always be connected to the MCU without actually having to be, because they're from another dimension, but they've been in a real Spider-Man movie, whatever. Then Marvel gets to keep doing whatever they want with Tom Holland.
Man, that's great. Yeah. That'd be very good.
And I don't know what Maguire is doing in there, but but not Maguire.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield.
Yeah, being a jerk.
You know, I think he was good casting in a bad movie. I think that like there's definitely he would have done a good job. I think he did do a good job with what he was given. Even those movies just aren't good, and I think that he would have been a great Peter in a better series. But hey, what can you do?
I really have this. I want Sam Raimi's Multiverse of Madness to be awesome, and I want them to be like, fuck it, you want to do Spider-Man 4? I would, I'd kind of be down. And I wonder if he would do his original plan with Vulture with, I think it was Ben Kingsley.
Sometimes it was Ben Kingsley, and then
John Malkovich?
Think it was Malkovich. Yeah, I think both of them were, attached at different points.
That would have been wild.
Yeah.
I would love to see Kraven the Hunter.
Well, apparently, I mean, there's he's still strongly rumored to be the villain, like the main villain in the upcoming movie.
Wow, that would be wild.
There's gonna be this movie, nobody knows what this movie's about. So,
they really backed the last one into a corner.
Yes, they did. Which, and I don't think they would have done that without knowing where they were going next, because unlike Star Wars, which we were just talking about, Marvel doesn't operate that way. I don't think I think that they don't know 100% where they're going, but I'm sure they have a few viable options on the table.
True. Yeah. It's gonna be wild. And J. Jonah Jameson is back, so it doesn't matter what happens as long as we get him.
I hope it's more than a cameo.
Yeah, that's what I hope too.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just, you really felt the loss of not having that character in the Andrew Garfield movies.
Oh yeah, he's such an important part of Spider-Man. He's one of the cornerstones of the entire thing. Yeah. I was, before all this kind of like multiversal and metatextual stuff started getting added to this third movie, I thought that a fun thing to do with the third one would have been to have Jonah be kind of the lead villain, and have him hire Justin Hammer to create Spider Slayers and the Scorpion to go after.
Love that.
Because that's kind of, I know it's just another one of Tony's villains going after Spider-Man, and people are tired of that. But if it's Justin Hammer, it's okay.
It makes sense. Yeah. And like, who doesn't want Sam Rockwell back?
Exactly.
He was so good. He's the best part of Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so I think that would have been a fun way to go. But I hope that Jonah is in it pretty significantly.
I hope so too. I really do. He was Gordon for a second. That's wild to think about.
Yeah, that is really weird to think about.
I'm really excited to see Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, that's such a perfect casting. I mean,
works so well.
Yeah, it's really, really good casting.
Yeah. Oh man, this will be good.
Spider-Man.
We just dived deep into Batman and Spider-Man. That's my favorite territory right there.
Sorry, I've been thinking about Spider-Man, and I don't have ananybody to talk to.
No, I love it.
Replay the PlayStation game. I kind of want to replay
I played it a couple months ago. I played through it again, and I'm looking forward to the new one that's coming out.
Yeah,
I think in a couple weeks or something next month.
Yeah.
Very soon. Yeah.
I was really thinking about the PS5 just for that reason, but I think I'm going to go with an iPhone 12 instead.
Oh yeah, I'm just going to get the PS4 version of the game.
That's right, they are doing it.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, buying a system at launch is not a good idea.
No, I did that for the PS4 and I regretted it.
Yeah, but
there's no games.
There's no games, and also they don't work right. It usually takes like a couple times through for them to start working right. But yeah. So, and I've been playing Avengers as well. I know you guys talked about playing the demo of that. I mean, I really like it a lot. I'm not a huge gamer, so a lot of the complaints that people have don't really affect me because, I don't know, it seems fine to me. I'm never going to play online, ever.
Right on.
So I think that's like a big part of it. It's like very much an online game. So I'll do like the online kind of stuff, but I'm just playing against bots and stuff, and not, and with AI teammates. So I like it for that. It's just nice to have, a really big AAA game with these characters, because it doesn't really exist.
Do you have a favorite, Mickey, of like who you like to play in the game?
I really like Captain America, and Miss Marvel is a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
But
from the demo, that was probably my favorite character, because she had all these like cool powers and stretching abilities and stuff.
But they all have really cool stuff. Hulk is really cool, and they have really fun skill trees and ways that you can customize them. And it's a lot of fun. Iron Man is a big pain in the ass. I don't really like being Iron Man very much, but
just difficult to control.
I find him difficult to control. I prefer, just in video games in general, I prefer melee to ranged. I'm really bad with shooting stuff for whatever reason. Like first-person shooters, I have a very hard time with, because I always end up just like running around with a club, which is like not the right weapon to use in those kind of games. But so I find him very challenging to use. But otherwise it's fun, and there's rumors that they're going to be adding like 30 characters to the game over the next couple of years. So
wow.
Yeah, wow. I think they're going to do one a month or something like that. They're trying to
and they're trying to get the long run for it. And I think
that's
a good reason to get it.
They're adding Spidey for the Sony version, unless he's already there.
No, he's not there yet. He's coming next year. They said sometime next year. Yeah, he's a Sony exclusive. But then I think the first one that is getting added for everybody is Kate Bishop, the second Hawkeye.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Right on.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I have to look into the game again then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Before we get into a list, this is superhero related. I don't know if Sean, if you finished it, or Mick, if you even watched it, but if you guys have, did you watch The Boys?
I've not seen the new season.
Okay. We won't get into it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you like the first season?
I did, yeah. It's
I like the
fun...
first season better, but it's still pretty good. Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's kind of like a poppier Watchmen in a way.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
The idea of like, what would superheroes be like if they were real? It's like, yeah, probably something like that, but it probably wouldn't be so cartoony.
Yeah. What's Homelander? This is his season for sure.
Man, I hate Homelander so much.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hate him even more after this season.
He's so hateable.
What a bad guy.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's those eyes too, man. His eyes.
Yeah, he's such a prick.
He's got the most. Yeah.
He's British.
Oh, really?
He's a Brit.
Yeah, I watched one of the kind of the after the show kind of interview things. I was like, what? Those Brits can act, I'll tell you.
You got those American accents down.
Honestly. But we can't do it the other way around.
I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
some of us can do a pretty good job, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not bad, that
Liverpool accent.
Sean, you should be able to do like an okay one, huh?
I mean,
can't you just like do impressions of your dad from just growing up?
Yeah, the bloody thing. No. My dad has a very specific one, but I feel like I always tend to do like I guess it'd be like a Londoner accent, because that's kind of like the default one. But like when it's like Liverpool accents and all those other ones, they have very like distinct dialects.
Yeah.
That make them very Liverpool. So my dad, he's like a northern accent, so that'd be like a northerner, as they say. So, but
that Sheffield.
That Sheffield, yes.
Yeah.
Man.
But
I heard a crazy rumor. I don't know if this is true. This is way off topic, but I've heard not too long ago that the origin of the British accent, like that Americans and Brits actually spoke the same. I was listening to a history podcast. It was about the Revolutionary War, and they're like, actually, British and American, they all sounded the same. And it wasn't until I think it was the 1800s that the British kind of hierarchy was trying to separate itself from the peasants or whatever, and started speaking like this to kind of like, isn't that wild? If that's like true, like we just decided to start talking funny one day, and our kids talk that way, and generations now talk that way. It's like
down,
and no one remembers how it started. Like that's wild.
I don't know. Again, this is like, I'm not an anthropologist, so I don't know if this is true or not. But I have heard that like Appalachian South, apparently like that the hillbilly, that accent is the closest thing on earth today to Elizabethan English.
I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, which is interesting to think about.
It was always kind of striking to me in Django Unchained. There's that awful scene when they get to the Candyland.
Yeah.
And they chase the one slave like to the tree with the dog and everything. And there's that one kind of like Calvin Candy. It's not right hand man, but one of his right hand men. And he just kind of mumbles and kind of meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, oh, that's probably how everyone talked back then. You know what I mean? Like if we went back in time, we would not be able to understand. We would not be able to communicate with people.
Well, I think there's still places where people talk like that.
Well, yeah, definitely. I just mean like, I think that was one character, but representative of like probably how most people talked back then, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Language is very, very fluid.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah.
I quite like it.
Quite like it a lot. Yeah.
Quite like that. Yeah. But it's October. We're very aware it's October. We're gonna get us some Octoberian lists here.
All right.
If you guys are down. Jonathan, would you like to go first? Would you like I to go first?
I'll go first. I think this is kind of the harder one. I don't know if it's the harder one. I don't know. So for you guys, what are your top 5 horror movie weapons of choice?
Ooh.
Like in a movie, and it doesn't have to be very distinct ones or whatever.
Okay.
When we were texting earlier, I thought you just said movie murder weapons.
Movie murder weapons. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be horror movie specific. But,
okay. All right. Thank God. Cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's my top 5.
All right.
Nick, would you like a chance to kind of think about it, or?
Yeah. Give me around it. Yeah. Let me think about it.
All right. I'm gonna shoot off my 5, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right. Number 5. I'm gonna go with Jack Torrance's axe from The Shining.
Mm.
It's a damn fine axe.
Yeah, yeah.
Shiny. It's a shiny axe.
Yeah.
It's shiny.
Yeah. Number 4, I'm going to go with the meat truck from Goodfellas, where they found Carbone.
Is that a weapon?
Oh.
Or is that just a
died.
storage facility?
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with the
Unless
ice
they
pick.
froze him to
I'll go
death,
with the
right?
ice
I
pick.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with the ice pick. Number 3, I don't know why I really like Mel Gibson's tomahawk in The Patriot.
Yeah.
Like that's what a cool weapon, you know? Like the tomahawk is sleek, it's mobile. You can attach it to a hilt. You can throw it. You can hack.
That's what's up, man.
I don't know. Number 2, I'm really sorry. I'm going with the phallic statue from A Clockwork Orange.
Ooh, yeah, quite a murder weapon there.
Quite the murder. How would you like to be killed by death by statue penis?
Yeah.
You know, so the other night I thought it was it was last Thursday, so we did our live show. I was up till about 2 a.m. editing the show, and I finally go to bed, and at about 3:30 my buzzer goes off, and I shoot up in bed. I'm like, what? Maybe that didn't really happen, huh? You know, I'm all out of it, and it buzzes again and even longer. I go, what the fuck? And Marty's going crazy. I'm like, what do I do? I've never lived in the city before. I don't know what to do. So I, cautiously like put on my slippers and kind of went out. So there's a gate, and then there's a door to the building, and I'm the first door in. So if I walk outside my front door, I can see the front doors and gate and everything. And there's a person in a dress and half asleep. I'm like, oh, is that my lady like coming to surprise me in an orange dress? Nope, that's a dude. That's a dude in a dress, which is not, I have no problem with that. But I'm like, oh, okay, misread that situation. And I go, hey man, what's up? And he goes, sorry, I was trying to buzz 102 or 103. I go, then buzz them. And he was just like, oh, okay. And he just kind of buzzes them and then looks at me kind of pleadingly. I go, hey man, I don't know you. I can't let you into the building. I'm really sorry. And he goes, okay. And he walks away. And then this, I'm starting to go back. And then another girl comes out from another door, just pissed and, half asleep. And I go, hey. And she goes, who was that? I go, I don't know. It's just some dude in a dress. I didn't let him in. I'm really sorry. She goes, why the fuck are you sorry? Go back to sleep. I was like, okay. And anyway, Clockwork Orange was like the first thing that came to mind, like, please let us in and there's been an emergency. Need to use your telephone. And I was like, nah, I've seen that movie. I'm not letting you in. Anyway, sorry. Sorry for the weird, long-winded personal story.
You're good.
And of course, number 1 movie weapon is Ash's chainsaw. I mean,
yeah.
But attached to his stump. So,
yeah. I mean,
I want to do something more unpredictable, but really that's it. That's the best thing.
Yeah, what are you going to do,
The best is the best. So
true.
Yeah.
I like it, Joey.
I like that you gave it to me, Shawnee. That was a difficult one. But yeah. Shawnee, would you like to, or Mick?
Mickey, do you have a list ready, or?
I'm at 3.
Yeah, 3. Okay.
I've got 3. Yeah.
So.
I'll give you. I'll start mine then. Let's see.
Okay.
Number 5. Man, I don't know if it's a weapon, but a murder weapon. I got Kill Bill, the katana. Yeah, that's pretty much. She's just a badass in the whole film. Using that katana thing. So
this is true.
There's something like elegant and very violent about it at the same time with katanas. So they're like very sharp blades, Japanese blades. So and can slice and dice them pretty much in the movie. So
yeah,
that's katana from Kill Bill. Let's see here. Number 4, I got this is a kind of a different movie. It's a musical. It's Sweeney Todd, and I always think of the barber's blade that Mr. Sweeney Todd uses to murder his victims.
Yeah.
And he usually just pretty much slits their throats, and that's pretty much it. And dumps
Straight
them in
razors
his...
are scary.
They're kind of, yeah. There's
Yeah.
like, again, kind of similar to a katana. There's this weird elegance behind having a blade. You know, it's very classic, and you know, getting a shave. You know, I don't do that often, but you know, I've had a shave with a blade before, and like, you know, there's something about it. It's elegant, but it does look very sharp and kind of deadly at the same time. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna go. Barbara's Blade, I guess. Sweeney Todd.
Love it.
Number 3. I guess this one's. I'll put it in the kind of horror genre, I guess. Freddy's 5 death fingers, blades, fingers. Freddy Krueger.
The glove, the blade glove.
The glove. One, Freddy Krueger is just scary in general. And haunts your nightmares and stuff. But also, yeah, his weapon of choice and his murdering weapon of choice is the 5, blades on the fingers, and it's just super creepy. And I think it's even creepier than Wolverine's like blades. So yeah.
Well, they're presented very differently.
I mean, yeah, they're presented very differently.
It's
but
funny
I
to
guess
think about Wolverine's
the 3
blades
versus
being-
5, I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Freddy Krueger on this one for 3.
Very good.
2, I had to switch a few. 2, I'm gonna go with. Man, I remember watching I don't know if it was the first Saw movie or the second Saw movie or one of those, but it was this trap they had, and it was like this mouth trap, and it would like cling onto your mouth, and if you didn't pass the test from Jigsaw or whatever, it would literally like split open and like just destroy your mouth and just pretty much decapitate your head into.
Yeah,
oblivion.
that's horrifying.
That's horrifying, and it's there's a lot of different murder weapons in Jigsaw's Funhouse or whatever, but and in the series, I guess, but that one really stuck out to me the most because it just it's just horrific, and it looks like your dentist's worst nightmare, because it's like it looks like something you would put like when you had braces on or something like that, and yeah, what a way to go. Just and Joey, for number 1, dude, I put Ash's chainsaw arm, because I actually recently watched Evil Dead 2 this last week, and I was like, this is such a badass weapon, weapon for the evil spirits that haunt him, and it's such an iconic look for that character too, and probably one of my I know it's kind of like murder weapons, but in the kind of horror genre too, I do like Ash's chainsaw. So
you can't
badass.
beat
and
it.
the sawed-off shotgun.
Sawed-off shotgun is great. You know what always kind of trips me when I think about Ash as a character is like, you always think about him with the chainsaw, but really screen time wise, it's not that much until maybe the TV show, which I only saw the first season of, but he gets it and he puts it on, kind of signaling the third act of Evil Dead 2. Yeah, and has it for the first act of Army of Darkness, and not really again after that. But
it's kind of an iconic thing. I mean, it's just like it's his iconography, and I think that they had an idea maybe with Army of Darkness that his metal hand was going to be like the new. Like that was because when he puts on his metal hand, it goes through the same motions. He does the groovy,
totally,
and it's like, well, that's not as cool as a chainsaw.
Yeah, they do the thing where he crushes the cup, but it's just not. It's not.
It's a hand. Yeah. I mean, I think that they were like, okay, let's find a way to make this easier on you, Bruce, as an actor, and then also like try to act like it's somehow cooler than a chainsaw. it's not.
It's not possible.
No.
Mick, do you have 5 movie murder weapons? All right.
I'm gonna put these 2 at 4 and 5 because they're less weapons and more clever use of an environment. So
I like that. Okay.
It's turning your environment into a weapon. So I'll start with one that I know we all know super well. And it is the propeller from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ooh, yes, I love it.
So it's like, yes, that is environmental, but also he's using his mind, turning it into a weapon, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's using strategy there.
Love that
strategy.
And number 4 is kind of in the same vein, and this one is from Jason X, which is Friday the 13th Part 10, where Jason goes to space and becomes a super cyborg.
Remember that one? I remember that one. Yeah.
And there is one kill where he freezes a woman's face in nitroglycerin and then shatters it on the stainless steel counter.
Oh, that's sexy.
Yeah. So I'm using the nitroglycerin as a weapon there.
That's I like it.
And then we got number 3 is from a movie that is not great, unfortunately, because if I explain it to you, it's going to sound really, really cool. So it is a kind of a neo-noir starring Chadwick Boseman. It's called Message from the King. And he plays he plays a guy from South Africa who he can't contact his sister in LA, so he comes out to find out what's happened to her, and quickly discovers that she's been murdered. So he goes around town trying to figure out who killed her, and exacts justice with a bicycle chain.
Whoa, gnarly!
And it's not as good as I just made it sound.
That's a bummer.
Yes,
I could see it being very brutal though.
Yeah,
with a murder and like. I mean, I could see it like skin coming off, I don't know.
But yeah, this like, neo-noir with Chadwick Boseman, it's like, it sounds a good idea. It's only okay. It's on Netflix, and if you want to see it, Message from the King.
I listened to you kind of talked about on your guys' on the Three Friends podcast, which
I did
everyone
talk about it.
listen to this, go check out your guys' show. But yeah, you went through his entire filmography.
All the ones where he was the star.
Yeah, I'm happy to learn that he has one more movie coming out. And it's with Denzel Washington. It's, I believe, Viola Davis. It's the same team that did Fences.
Oh, okay.
A couple years ago. So I'm happy that it sounds like he's going to go out on a pretty high note.
No, that's good. Yeah. Because he's got one more. He voiced T'Challa in an episode of What If that's coming out.
Oh, he already recorded that. That's great.
Yes, yeah.
That's
so,
great.
It's
Cool.
like what if T'Challa had become Star-Lord is the is that one. So that's going to be his last performance there. I mean, I hope I really do not want them to pull a Carrie Fisher with him.
Yeah,
he should. Yeah, but taken way too soon. Sorry to bring us down. While we're talking about the glee of death and murder, and then I had to bring in something serious. So number 2.
That's all good.
Number 2 is just your plain old run-of-the-mill butcher knife from your kitchen that Michael Myers uses in the first Halloween.
Wonderful.
Because that is very real. Of all the things that we've mentioned tonight, that is the thing that will most likely kill us if one of these things murders us. It's probably just going to be a kitchen knife. And so can't beat that. And then number 1 would be the Captive Bolt cow pistol from No Country for Old Men.
Hey.
This is and Sugar's his like hydraulic thing that you would use for euthanizing a cow generally, but he uses it to euthanize people.
Yeah.
It's quite frightening. Yeah.
Oh man,
he's so good in that.
He is. He's really good. Yeah.
There's something about that haircut.
Mm-hmm.
You know that an actor's really going for it when they have just an off-putting, creepy haircut from a different decade. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about like, oh, you look like you spend a lot of time on shag carpeting or something. You know what I mean? Like, you eat a lot of frozen dinners. There's something just really gross about that.
Yes.
I don't know. I can't articulate exactly what I'm trying to put my finger on there, but I think we all feel it.
Yeah. And it's kind of a goofy, I mean, it is a goofy haircut. It's a nerdy haircut. It's like it's just like a weird detail for this. He's essentially like a slasher. He's it's a classier movie, but he's basically doing the same thing that Jason does.
Big time, yeah.
So it's a great character, great movie. No Country for Old Men. Check it out.
Love it. I finally watched it all the way through about a year ago.
Okay.
And it's meditative.
Yeah.
It's,
meditative. No Country for Old Men.
You got to be in that mood.
That.
Oh yeah, you have to be in the mood for sure.
Yeah. It was good. It was real good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Good top five, guys. Woo.
Pretty good that. My list is it's a bit more just kind of generic for the season, but what are your top 5 favorite horror movies?
Hey, that's easy.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Mick, you want to lead off?
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll lead off. My list is pretty basic. So there's nothing. I don't think there's anything on here that's going to be like, what's that, or anything like that. But sometimes the classics are the classics. So at 5, I just mentioned in the last list, Halloween. 4, Evil Dead 2. 3, Alien, just the first one.
Ooh, yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that. Number 2, The Blair Witch Project. And number 1, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right on.
Hey.
That's your favorite movie of all time, if I'm correct, right?
It's my number 3 favorite movie of all time.
Ooh.
Very close.
What's your number 1?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's right. How did I?
Yes. I mean, it's just a weird, it's a weird one for sure.
I knew that though. And now
somebody who's
I feel
not
bad.
religious. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good list. It's a very good list. So
solid list.
I didn't put Evil Dead 2 on I didn't count Evil Dead 2 as a horror. So I didn't put it on my list because it is my number 1 of all time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that and High Fidelity kind of they're on a seesaw. But yeah. I
did a couple things where it's like I was like, how conceptual would I get here? It's like, is Apocalypse Now a horror movie? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
you can get into the weeds with that.
Probably, yeah. But like, if we're just going like just the straightforward, like you're gonna find it in the horror section of Blockbuster, those would be my picks.
I like it. You know what is never talked about as a horror movie? Alien kind of made me think of it. The first Terminator.
Oh no, it's a slasher movie.
Yeah.
It's totally
completely, and it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might prefer the first Terminator T2. That's a hot take.
It is kind of a hot take, and it's one that I just don't know because they're really,
so different.
They're very different, and I don't know. Maybe the first one is better. Like the second one is probably a bit more revolutionary, in terms of what it did for movies in general. But that first one it aged really, really well.
Yeah, and it's a solid watch every single time. Where the second one, you kind of got to carve out some time. You kind of got to, it's a much different experience, but they're both brilliant.
That's kind of how I feel about Alien and Aliens as well.
I've only seen the first Alien.
Oh, really? Yeah. Most people, I think, tend to like the second one better. But I like the first one more.
Right on.
Yeah.
Just like Jason,
I gotta sit down with it.
I was about to say, just like Friday the 13th, like the Alien series has like so many other movies too outside of the first two, right? Like there's
I think yes. So there's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs Predator, Alien vs Predator, Requiem, and then Super Spaceman and Super Spaceman 2 Aliens. What are those movies called?
No, I've only got up to, I think I watched up to Resurrection, and that's as far as I got. Yeah,
I can't believe Prometheus, yes, not Super Space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Prometheus, yeah. Prometheus, and then Alien. Prometheus 2 was like Alien something. Alien.
Yeah.
Alien Super Revenger. Alien. Night of the Aliens. Something.
It got a little ridiculous there for a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things happening. I actually have on my list Alien as well. It's
nice.
number 3 actually on my list.
Nice.
Another one I watched recently too. I would just put it on the other day, and still scares the bejesus out of me.
It's one of the best haunted house movies.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And the practicality and the way they were able to bring back the alien to life in a way, that is just horrifying just to see that thing in front of you.
But like go for it.
Oh, sorry, I keep interrupting. I recently heard that the original design of the alien was transparent, which would have changed the movie.
I think
much.
I've seen that before. I think I've seen like drawings of that.
Yeah.
Whoa,
that's
I don't
wild.
know. Yeah, with man,
they got so much mileage out of it being black.
lack. Yeah, especially to hide in the shadows.
Use of shadows and
Man,
that is a. I don't think people think about it as you described as a haunted house movie. And what's even scary about that is like you can leave a haunted house, you can run down the block.
Yeah.
When you're trapped in space, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Alien is kind of my main example for my theory on sci-fi, which is that sci-fi in itself is not a genre. Every sci-fi movie fits into some other genre. It just has sci-fi trappings.
Like the space opera or the Blade Runner's film noir, like
exactly. Like it's like it's a drama or it's an action movie or it's a horror movie, but you can't just be a sci-fi. That doesn't that's not a story. That's not that's not an emotion. I think of like genre kind of being defined by emotion, I guess.
Yeah,
I like that.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Ooh,
very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Well, Shawnee, you've already spilled some of yours.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. 3. So 3 is Aliens. I'm gonna go back to 5. House of 1,000 Corpses. I actually watched this literally last week, and I was like, really, I don't know, just freaked me out. And I was just sitting in my room after, like, contemplating going to bed, and like, I don't know if I can do this right now. It's directed by Rob Zombie, and very. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like B-movie, kind of. It looks like it, kind of low budget, but it's just freaky. It gave me like the Buffalo Bill vibes from like Silence of the Lambs, because one of the characters is kind of like that type of killer, I guess, where he skins them and does all sorts of weird shit. House of 1,000 Corpses.
Good pick.
Very nice.
It's weird, and it. I love how that movie escalates too. It keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier.
It gets crazier and crazier, and I'm actually excited. Like Ken Park?
No, not like Ken Park.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, so Mick, like as far as there's other ones in the series, right?
There's 3. Yeah,
3 of them, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as I haven't seen the other 2, so is this the best one, do you think? Is it?
It's my favorite one. I think that most people consider the second one to be the best one. That's The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
That one is a little more. It's miserable. It's like it is just like mean and ugly and like unpleasant. And it's grounded. It doesn't get in any of the fantastical elements that kind of come in House of 1,000 Corpses. You're saying that like that movie escalates, and it escalates into a place where you think you're kind of in a normal real world setting, and then it's like, oh wait, maybe there are supernatural elements here. None of that comes into this play with the other 2. And then the third one I thought was one of the worst movies I've seen in the decade. It is just a piece of trash.
Which one is that?
That one is called 3 from Hell. It plays like it's like he shot it for like nothing, and it just feels like he doesn't have a passion for it. It kind of feels like he made it because he thinks it's what people want him to make. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so it's just empty. His last 2 movies have not like. I mean, I think there's an argument that like a lot of his movies kind of aren't any good, but there's something to appreciate about them because they are so distinctly him. Which is always there. And I think that like another one that you should check out that he made is Lords of Salem. That one is really
Lords of Salem. Okay.
Yeah, it's about witches. But yeah, his last 2, 3 from Hell and 31 was the one before it, are just kind of like, you want me to make movies where rednecks are swearing, and here you go, and like really cheap, look like they're just thrown together, a lot of bad green screen, a lot of just
that's a bummer.
I want him to do something that makes his heart full,
I felt that in House of 1,000 Corpses. I really did. Like, it felt like his kind of vision, and it had like his imprint on it for sure.
I think that there's an idea when people get to make movies, people like Rob Zombie get to make this movie, especially a little bit later, and they may never get to make another movie again, so they're just going to pack everything they ever wanted to do in a movie into this one movie. And I think he did that with House of a Thousand Corpses, because that was his first movie. He was already probably like 35, something like that. You know, like he was like a rock star. He's not a director, you know, like, and he's just going to do everything he possibly could into this one crazy movie. And then it sat on the shelf for years too. It didn't come out for a really long time. And so kind of this legend built up around it. It's like, Rob Zombie made this movie that's so fucked up that like they're like, nobody's going to put it out. And it comes out.
That's some good word of mouth though. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Marketing. Jesus.
Nice.
Very cool.
Dude, yeah, it's really freaky, that movie. So that was 5.
Sorry,
4,
I make this show so long. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
you're good.
I'm loving this.
We love talking movies, man. It's cool. And I was curious about the other two because I've heard of them, but I didn't realize they were like attached to they're in the same world, like a trilogy, I guess.
Yeah, you might want to just keep in mind that it's not happy, but you might want to check out check out The Devil's Rejects. I'd especially like to watch it thinking about Empire Strikes Back as well. Because there's nobody ever talks about that, but there's a lot of it hits a lot of the same beats.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Ooh, wow. Okay. All right, so that's my number 5, guys. Number 4, I've got Event Horizon, which is kind of like going off what Mickey was saying. It's kind of a sci-fi movie, but again, I kind of put it in that horror.
Oh, it's horror, yeah.
Genre, yeah. Really freaking weird movie. I guess the weirdest part about it was like, you know, when it's pretty much about this like space crew, and they try to save some ship, and then the ship ends up being like inside this like crack of time or something, or like it's
like a portal to hell.
Portal hell. Yeah, it's crazy. And then some weird shit just starts happening on the ship, and I get very vivid images of, I think Sam Neill's in it, and I remember this really weird image of him, and he had like some prosthetic makeup on, but there's some just weird stuff that happens in the film, and I think that's what really kind of got under my skin, especially when it's taking like something like a space, kind of space sci-fi, and you have this kind of basic, like, this is the mission, and you're kind of used to that trope or whatever, and then it kind of flips it on its head a little bit, especially in that third act. So Event Horizon for 4.
Yeah. Love it.
Said Aliens for 3. 2, I don't know if it's it's a kind of a horror. It's more of a zombie flick, but 28 Days Later, I still really love 28 Days Later.
Works, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's a horror movie.
Such a freaky, movie, especially when it's like a dude who wakes up and the zombie apocalypse just happens, and like, it's very in your face, I would say, like as far as just like the cinematography and the way they shot it, and even it kind of, not saying it predates, and there's been a lot of zombie movies obviously before it, but there was like that wave of just like everything was zombies after this movie came out.
Yeah, I think it's running zombies. That's definitely where the running zombies came from. Yeah,
and I think I feel like maybe a lot of those, even like shows like The Walking Dead, like take a lot from this movie, and still one of my favorite kind of zombie-esque movies. And it's freaky, and the running zombie is something to be scared of when this thing is like fully going at you, full speed ahead. So it just gives you like another layer onto the zombie apocalypse.
Have you seen the sequel?
I did.
It's pretty good too.
Yeah, it followed like a different family, right? Or like a different.
It's like kids. It's like, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I may be a little bit off. But I believe it's about 2 young kids who like kind of meet up with like a squad of soldiers. And I think like Jeremy Renner and Idris Elba, I think are
that's right. Oh, yeah, wow. Those guys are in that movie too.
Yeah, like
it takes
Robert
place,
Carlyle's in it.
I remember it takes place like they set it up as like, okay, we've got a quarantined area where people are living, and we've got this kind of like under control, I would say. And that's kind of like, I think, where it comes from. And those 2 kids are like they're about to like start living in this new haven kind of place. And of course that, that always doesn't work out, but I now I kind of want to watch the sequel, because I don't remember as much, but I'm trying to remember like the tie-ins. They still kind of keep it in that world, but they do still feel like for me, it's personally separate like movies, because they focus on different characters and stuff.
Definitely. It's just the same world. Yeah.
Yeah. Same world.
Is the second one also a Danny Boyle joint?
No, I think he maybe wrote it, but let me see if I can figure out who directed it.
Yeah. I feel like I don't think he did.
He did.
Might have
he did not. He for sure didn't direct it. It was directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo.
Oh, of course.
Of course. Yeah, he's not really done much. He did a movie called Intacto before that, and then after that, he did a movie called Intruders. And as of now, he is pre-production on The Sword and the Stone.
Ooh,
interesting.
Whether or not that is Disney. Oh no, yeah, it looks like Disney Sword and the Stone.
The Disney Sword and the Stone.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I saw The Intruders. So yeah, 28 days later, y'all.
Yeah, good pick.
Right on.
2. And then I don't know, Joe. I put Evil Dead 2 as my number 1 because I don't know. I just had so much fun watching it the other day.
Evil Dead 2.
So good.
It's so good, and it's funny because I still like Evil Dead 1, like watching it, and it's good. It's a good self-contained story, but there's just some moments in Evil Dead 2 that just like really stick out, and it's like, I mean, you're saying like Ash's greatest weapon. It's almost like he's pretty much like fighting himself throughout the, he's fighting this evil that's trying to possess him, and
when he fights his own hand, that's my favorite movie fight scene.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Incredible. Everything
for
about
it. A one man kind of like he's carrying that scene.
He carries that whole movie. I mean, it's basically, people talk about Castaway, but Bruce Campbell carries Evil Dead 2 for 75% of that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, and it's the kind of thing where it's like you watch Evil Dead 2 and you wonder, it's like, why does anybody ever spend $200 million on a movie? It's like that movie has everything a movie needs. And it's just I mean, it's perfect.
It was made cheap, and it was made by friends just having a good time, being inventive with the camera and with what they could do.
Wasn't a safe set, and like that is one thing that I probably would do differently if I were in Sam Raimi's shoes. I would not risk the life of my friends. But other than that, it's really, really clever. It's an art house movie that is a slapstick comedy and a gore fest. Like there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
It's such a tightrope of such a balance of all these different not moods. What word am I looking for here?
Tones, styles.
Yes, tones. Yeah. You can't pin it down, and that's why I didn't put it on my list, just because I was like, oh, it's not exactly. Although looking at my list, it's not all. Well, we'll talk about that in a sec, but yeah.
I would let it be horror just because it has so many horror-y things. You know what I mean? Like
icons
even if it's not scary, it's still got blood and monsters and shit. You know,
truth. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No. You first.
I always still love that scene where he's chopping off his hand, and it's just the blood and just blood all over his face, shooting on him, and it's just like such a memorable scene. It just always sticks out to me when I think of that movie.
I love right after that when he goes, "Here's your new home," and he just puts the trash can over the hand. That's great.
And then puts "Farewell to Arms" on top of the trash can.
Yeah.
The book "Farewell to Arms." And it just the idea of just like somebody swearing at their own hand so sincerely is funny. You know, just like really like truthfully calling his hand a bastard. You know, like
Well, and like the hand flipping him in the kitchen and hitting him with the plates, and the crawling and dragging him towards a knife to kill. It's oh man, it's good.
I can't imagine being able to do that, especially because it's not like Bruce Campbell is a trained clown. He just did it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was always kind of acrobatic or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's it bums me out. I mean, we are finally getting another Sam Raimi movie, but what do you think he was in director jail after Oz the Great and the Powerful?
No, I think he just doesn't really want to do anything.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I because he doesn't. He's the kind of guy, he doesn't have to be in director jail, because even if like maybe they put him in director jail for movies like that, but he's not going to have any trouble finding a movie producer who's going to, if he goes to him, he's going to be like, hey, I need $3 million to make a horror movie. No one is going to say no to Sam Raimi on something like that. Yeah. You know, so I just have to assume he just doesn't really want to.
Yeah.
He produces all kinds of stuff. Like he's a very, very active horror producer. So
yeah, man, it was so refreshing after the Spider-Man trilogy ended and seeing Drag Me to Hell. It was like, all right, we got him back. And then, you know,
and nothing.
Oh well.
Yeah. I guess
I turned off Oz. I couldn't sit through it.
Oh yeah. It's not very good. And then the last thing he did was the pilot to Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which I think is the worst episode of the first season. So
really,
oh man,
yeah. It's the one episode where it's like just too much CG. The jokes didn't feel appropriate to the series to me. Like it just didn't feel like Evil Dead to me. And then I think that as it progressed, it felt more like Evil Dead. And I think that maybe it was because it was going into the hands of people who are like fans and wanted to make an Evil Dead thing, whereas like maybe that wasn't really on Sam Raimi's mind, you know, maybe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I haven't, because Evil Dead 2 has always kind of been my favorite movie. I try to watch it as least amount as possible, because I don't want to play it to death. I don't want to ruin it, you know. So It's been a long time since I've watched that movie, but I'm thinking now in October, maybe it's time I go through not just the movies but the series as well, because it's been a long time since I've watched the first season. I don't remember hardly anything about it.
Did you watch the remake?
I did. I went to the theater to see it.
Better than you might think it would be.
It was a very noble effort. I think Fede Alvarez is a great filmmaker. It didn't know exactly what tone it wanted to strike. Like, you know, for the first part of the movie, it's straight horror, and they could have kept it that way. And then there's some hokiness near the end, and
I think that's where it wins me over. It wins me over towards the end when it becomes Evil Dead. When it becomes like the kind of like she becomes more Ash-like, and the violence becomes more cartoony and over the top, whereas like the violence in the first half of the movie is like grotesque and terrifying.
Yeah. It's been a minute since I just remember going to the midnight showing, and there being people dressed up like zombies. I'm like, not exactly.
Yeah, not quite. Not really zombies. Yeah.
But there was so much internet frenzy around that movie when that came out. I remember people being like, best movie ever. I'm like,
not really. No,
you know, it was a valiant effort, and I wish
it wasn't garbage.
It was not. I wish he would have gotten his own. I wanted to see where he was going to go with it next. I was genuinely curious.
I was hoping that eventually they would cross the two characters over, because there was always rumor of that happening, and I would have been interested in that, and like maybe even just her getting to be on the TV show. But
that would have been great.
Yeah, it didn't happen. But now, even after he's officially retired, but there's murmurs that he's going to come back. So
that's right for the fourth one that Raimi will not direct, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So for my list, as I was putting it together, there were a bunch of movies that we've talked about in the past that I figured, you know, like I love Scream, but we've talked about Scream to death, you know, one of the best opening scenes of all time, I think. And, you know, the birds, the different kind of things. But as I was weeding it out, I was like, oh, I've made it more movies that have come out in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So these are newer movies. And number 5, I put on the list because IMDb lists it as horror. I don't know if this will count, but I put The Lighthouse at number 5.
Sure. No, I'd consider it a horror movie.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I love The Lighthouse. It is a descent into madness, and
that's the horror.
I had such a great time at the theater with it. I really loved it. You know, and Willem Dafoe is just, that might be the role he was born to play. Weird to say, you know. But he's so good in that.
Yeah.
Man, the monologue, everything.
Oh, the monologue is the high point of the movie for me.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, great flick. Number 4, speaking of Fede Alvarez, Don't Breathe.
Oh, okay.
I really liked this movie. Have you guys seen it?
I have. I have mixed feelings about it, because I think it's incredibly well made. I really hate the reveals at the end.
It's disgusting.
It gets and unnecessarily so.
Yeah, with the turkey baster.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is just like, why did you need to do that? Like, why? Like, what was already there was enough.
True.
I thought, but outside of that, like, it's like so well made. It's very well directed, constructed. Movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only seen it one time, but I just remember liking it a whole lot, feeling it was very original and unlike kind of anything I'd seen in a while still feeling familiar enough and everything. Mm-hmm. Number 3, I'm gonna go Midsommar.
Ooh, okay.
I threw this on at 1:30 in the morning. It's not a movie you should throw on at 1:30 in the morning because it is long and it is slow and but you know what? That was perfect because I was half asleep and I was like, oh, okay. And I just kept watching and all of a sudden it's 3 in the morning. I was like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write a little bit. And, I was I was in a creative mood. It got me thinking and it's beautiful. It's such a gorgeous flick, but terrifying. I don't know. Shawnee, have you seen it?
I haven't seen this one either, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I've actually been recommending this movie a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hereditary?
Those two, Midsommar and Hereditary. Those are the 2 recommended ones I've had recently. So I feel like I'm going to watch them just because of tis the season, I guess.
Right on.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, Mother, Darren Aronofsky.
Okay.
I loved Mother. I went to the theater by myself to see it. I really love how kind of open-ended in terms of interpretation it is. Like when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is about how selfish artists are. And, they feel they're giving a piece of themselves and being selfless to their audience, but the people that live with them have to deal with their kind of insufferable selfishness. And I was like, that's kind of poignant. I like that. And then I read reviews and they're like, it's actually about the first book of the Bible. And I'm like, wow, I see that too, and
I think it's both of those things at the same time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's really great how, he paints such a full picture and yet you're able to fill in so many blanks and kind of take your own thing away from it. And it's another one of those ones where it just descends into total madness. And you're like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
It's incredible. And Michelle Pfeiffer is amazing in it. Ed Harris is amazing, and Javier Bardem, Jennifer, they're all so good in this movie. I really like Mother.
It feels more like a dream. It feels more like it accurately captures what dreaming is like more than any other movie I've ever seen.
That's a good call.
Because filming a dream is really hard because they're nonlinear. They don't make any sense, and I think he did a really good job of that. I mean, like the sheer horror that he mines out of the idea that the sink isn't braced. It's like unbelievable. Stop leaning against this thing. I don't know how many times I need to tell you.
Yeah, and then people just keep showing up, and it's you're right. The dream logic within the movie of like, oh my God, I came up with this book in the afternoon, and by the night, it's already been published, and everyone is seeking out. I want to visit the writer, and like it's wild. And I didn't think of it that way.
I also feel like it's one of those movies that probably women have a whole nother appreciation for, that even though it was made by a man, I think that it goes into like the kind of shit that ggets laid on women all the time. Like, just like that stress of like, oh, somebody's coming over. Like, and like my husband is just laying around. Well, I have to like clean the house because somebody's coming over that he invited, like that sort of, the domestic horror of it in a way.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a good call. Jesus.
So
many layers.
Like go back in time, like think about your mom, like getting stressed because a holiday's coming up.
Company clean.
Yeah.
There's clean and then there's company clean.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't want the house to, like, she doesn't like have time to make the house company clean today. Like, you know, like it's not fair, you know, like.
And he's smoking a cigar inside. Man, yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, another movie goes too far at the end, but I give this one a pass.
Yes. Because thematically it goes too far for a reason, for a way that I think makes sense. Yeah, no, it reaches the logical conclusion, unfortunately.
Yeah. Wish you
and
didn't
then
have to see it, but
yeah. Sean, have you seen this?
I've seen it once and I barely remember it, so I might have to rewatch it.
Yeah, something very, very horrific happens at the end that could have been off.
I'm trying to remember. But you know, it's interesting to hear you guys talk about it because, like Joey was saying, you can interpret it a few different ways, and so I'd be interested to rewatch it and see with what you guys were talking about, and then also maybe make my own kind of take on it, I guess. So
yeah. And then number 1, Get Out.
Hey,
oh, Get Out, dude!
Get Out's such a man. It's because it's not. I mean, it's scary, but it's all like more than it's so original. Like I remember watching it, just feeling so refreshed and energized in terms of watching movies and loving movies and like, oh my God, people can still do new things, and it's just it's so good. It's so good, and it has a clear message, and hopefully if you're watching it, you're taking away the right lessons from it and all that kind of thing. But it's the characters, you care about all of them, and I think you're genuinely hurt when some of them turn that you weren't expecting them to, and
sure.
And it's a beautiful film, and yeah, I don't know, it's I think the Get Out will people are going to be talking about it for a very, very long time.
Yeah, definitely, completely agree.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's going to be one of the defining. It's going to be one of the defining movies of the decade. Yeah, I think, and easily
one of the best directorial debuts ever. But
yeah. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. What can you say?
Yeah. Did you like Us?
I did. It's kind of more like Mother than Get Out in a lot of ways, in that it's about everything and whatever you need it to be. It kind of is about that, and in a sense, there's so many ways to read it, but it's just so ambitious and weird, and I really, really liked it a lot. I like when people do these big crazy swings like that.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I liked Us a lot up until they kind of started to explain the world and where the people were coming from and all that. I was like, I don't need any of that, just let these people exist, But no, it was very good. Very good. I can't wait to see what Jordan Peele does next.
Yeah. Jordan Peele. Well, he I think he's been producing the Lovecraft Country show, which I've been watching.
I'm not quite sure how much he has to do with that other than his name, though, really.
Yeah, I know there's probably other minds behind it, but definitely the type of themes and like topics I think like take from, like, I'm not saying they take from Us or like Get Out, but like they definitely dive into like deeper into some of those things that maybe like he was trying to say in some of those movies. But it's definitely what do you call it? Kind of like it's like fantasy horror. I don't know. It's a very interesting blend of different genres.
Yeah.
And I remember I think I was reading about Jordan Peele, and he was talking about Get Out and when he was making that film, and even though it's so original, he has such a love for like horror films and very specific genres in that. And he even said, I think when he was writing the movie, he felt like he pulled a lot from a lot of the horror movies that he really enjoyed, and some of the things that were happening in that, but also tackling very heavy themes, racial themes and all these kind of other things. But Yeah, I don't know how much he has a hand in Lovecraft Country, but I am freaking enjoying it. It's pretty awesome, and it kind of lives within that world, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it for sure. Just have to wait for a time in which my wife and I can watch it together.
Yeah.
There we go. That's beautiful, man.
That's beautiful.
I want to give. Can I give a shout out to one more movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. This is a movie that is very. It's not in. It didn't make the top 5, but maybe in a few years it'll be there. It's a movie called Resolution. It is. It's from 2013 or 14, somewhere around.
Okay.
There. And have you? What can I say that won't spoil it? Have you guys seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yes. Yes.
Parts of it, but I know. Yeah.
So Resolution is very similar thematically to Cabin in the Woods in that it is about it's about telling horror stories and how the audience reacts to it and trying to please the audience and also make the story satisfying for you to tell and that sort of thing. But it's told it's a very low budget movie. And it's very low key. It's not like over the top and wacky like Cabin in the Woods is. It's really like if you are interested in like kind of meta looks at storytelling and like that sort of thing, I think it's really, really hard to beat it. And it has a sequel that came out a couple years ago, I think 2017, called The Endless. And that is when that came out, they kind of tried to distance it, because it was like a bigger budget thing, but still like a scrappy, low budget indie movie. And I think they didn't want to burden it by having it be a sequel to something else, that nobody else had ever seen. Yeah, but it's very much a sequel, and it's thematically about being a sequel in a way that I think that you guys would find very, very interesting if you watch both movies. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend those. I think that Resolution is on Amazon Prime and Endless is on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, I saw that was on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Ooh. I highly, highly recommend those movies.
Thank you.
Recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I'll check that out.
And if you like storytelling,
it's okay. It's a thing. It's a thing I like. Right on. Well, shoot. We got through some lists, boys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for jumping on. That was so awesome. That was great. Is there anything you guys would like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience? It's not imaginary. We've got 3 viewers, and it might be us 3. But that's okay.
Who am I seeing? I'm seeing in the room. We got Commander Root, Lurks, Termina, me, and Thicker.
What's up, guys? Sorry, we
see. I don't even see. Where do you see the? I don't know how to work this.
You see the chat. You see the chat column.
Yeah.
Okay, go to the chat column, and right next to where it says Stream Chat, there's like a little box with like 2 little guys.
Yeah.
Click those little guys.
Users in chat. Oh my goodness.
Yo.
Mm-hmm. We've got some people.
We're so new to this, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys are still there.
Sorry, you had to listen to me steamroll everybody and be like, no,
but, actually, not at all.
Yeah, actually, horror movies are good.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I think it's I think it was Scorsese that it was like, if you don't like horror movies, you don't like movies.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Very, very pure. A lot of people are real down on the jump scare, for example. I think that the jump scare is probably the purest form of cinema, and especially if you do it if you do it right, because you can do it very badly. But if you do it right, it is like the perfect concert of every aspect of filmmaking. You have acting, directing, writing, editing, sound. Everything is coming together for just this to make you react in one moment. And
you remember it. You can remember a moment in the theater where your heart lurched out of your body. You know what I mean? Like it's powerful. Very powerful.
Very powerful.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience this week?
I have like not much to share, guys. I'm so sorry.
That's fair.
I'm so underprepared for this one. But there's not much going on. I did watch A House of a Thousand Corpses for like the first time. I think it was like this. It was literally like, I think it was like this last week, or weekend, I guess. So, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm definitely gonna check out the sequel and maybe the third one, but definitely the second one.
If I were you, I would watch it just because I want to complete everything. But
yeah, I'm the same way, Mickey.
Yeah.
I'm a completionist. I have to watch all of it just to see the kind of full picture, or at least where they were kind of going with the story. But I really enjoyed the movie, and I think horror movies, I think they're not necessarily I'm not saying it's not my favorite genre, but I think it's one of the genres that I am least. I haven't watched a lot of horror movies, and judging by some of the stuff that like Joey, some of the movies Joey mentioned, I have a few that I definitely have on my watch list. So, I think it's, I'm excited to at least dive a little more into those types of films. And my roommate below me, Dustin, he's like a huge horror buff. So every now and then I ask him like, yo man, what kind of movies can you recommend this time around? And you know what? Actually, you mentioned The Endless. I just remembered one of his buddies worked on that film.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I think it's shot. A lot of it was shot, I think, near where I believe you live.
Yeah. I could have sworn. Yeah, I think his friend was like, either he worked on it or he was part of the directorial. I think one of the, the members of the team or whatever, producing it. So, but House of a Thousand Corpses. Check it out, guys. Freaky. Very freaky.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Mickey, do you have anything to share?
I do. So I am one of 3 hosts on a podcast called The Three Friends Go Criterion. And this week, our most recent episode is one that I'm very proud of. We interviewed a director about her movie. And so it is a documentary film called Bleeding Audio, and it is about it's about the band The Matches, who were really they were like hometown heroes in the Bay Area in the early 2000s. They got signed to Epitaph, toured the world, were on magazine covers, put out albums, and then everything just kind of petered out for them. Just the bottom fell out. And then they ended up getting back together and having, like a small but kind of triumphant reunion. And, this movie kind of takes a look at bands that are like that, a band that it's not a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. It's just purely of like probably what happens to most bands who get signed is that it just didn't work out. They worked very, very hard and it just didn't happen. But, it still happened to an extent. They just didn't become the Rolling Stones. So anyway, we got to talk to the director of this movie, whose name is Chelsea Christer. And it's a very in-depth interview that we did with her, which is very uncharacteristic of our show. And she is very, very candid and forthcoming and really, really honest. And even if you have never heard of the band, I think the episode is interesting if you're interested in the process of filmmaking, because we got into kind of like the creative and narrative aspects of making a documentary, which is something that you maybe don't think about too much, but like the idea of like characters in your documentary and like what stays, what goes, that kind of thing. So yeah, that is available on our website, which is the3friends.com. You spell out 3, so it's TheThreefriends. And yeah, I'm very proud of that episode. The movie,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that movie's not available yet. It's still on the festival circuit, but keep your eye out for it, because it is going to be playing more festivals throughout this year and the next year. And it totally seems like the kind of movie that is going to find a home on Hulu or Netflix or something. It's really, really well made, and I think it has a good catch, good hook.
Cool.
Right. Now, this isn't the first time you guys have interviewed a director, right?
This is it's the third time technically. The first time was also her. So she was on episode 11 of the show 3 years ago. They were just about to wrap the movie, and then 3 years later, now they've actually did wrap it, because documentaries take just like forever to make. So she was on then, and that was episode 11. Now here we are. This is episode 147. So it's been a long time. And then we also did an episode with a director named Justin Herring, who is he became our friend through podcasting. He has a podcast called Casual Cinecast, and they're out of Texas. And we became friends with them through that. And when he put out his movie, which is available on Amazon Prime, it's called Camino. It's fun. It's a throwback to early Kevin Smith style, but with a crime caper kind of aspect to it.
Nice.
I really recommend checking that one out as well.
Cool. I mean, yeah, because I've always been fascinated, just how you guys kind of are able to, because I'm, this is why me and Sean rarely ever have guests on, because I'm just not a very personable social person. How do you guys kind of reach out and, get these people on your show?
That. When we first started the episode, or when we first started the show, rather, I think I wanted to do that more often. And the first kind of guest that we had on that was like kind of a somebody was John Cedarlin, who's a friend of ours from high school, who happens to be in a band that kind of tours around the world, called the Family Crest. And so we had him on, and that was easy because we know him. And so it's like, we just happen to know a rock star, so that's great. And then the next guest was Chelsea, who I've been talking about. And the way we kind of got into contact with them is our good friend, and he's like the third friend, Chris Beenan. He toured with the Matches for a while. So I knew that, so through them, so we were, what am I trying to get at? So I felt comfortable reaching out to them and being like, hey, I know Chris, so Chris can vouch for me. Because I didn't want to cold reach out to somebody. So I knew that they were making this movie, and I reached out to the director, and I asked her if she would like to be on. And I was like, we don't have a track record yet because the show is still brand new, but we know Chris, and I'm sure that any member of the band will vouch for Chris. And so I don't even think that I think she just immediately was like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And so then,
cool.
So then that's how we got her on. And then how she came on this time was actually I made a tweet about the movie, and somebody from the PR team reached out to me and was like, would you consider having the director of the film on? And I was like, yes. And as a matter of fact, she has been on before. And they were like, oh, okay, that's perfect. So
that's
so
awesome.
This was the first time that we've gone through, I had to go through PR people and stuff,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I had to make myself seem a little more official. But it's kind of made me want to try reaching out to bigger, people that I just would assume would say no, especially now because nobody's doing anything. Everybody's at home.
Right.
So it might be easier for people to say yes. I don't know.
And it always boils down to, what have you got to lose?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's what I have to lose, is I'm very shy.
Yeah, I just feel like I rub people the wrong way, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I'm very excited for you guys, and if anyone is listening, please check out the Three Friends podcast. We love you guys.
Yeah, we love you too.
Well, hey, there's love. There's so much love.
Love in this club.
The love you take.
Yeah, the Beatles.
Right on.
We almost didn't mention the Beatles.
I was going to say, couldn't be an episode without Mickey not mention the Beatles.
Oh, I will put this out there. Me and Sean have talked about, we were talking about after the 200th episode, maybe after October.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about going back through, now that we have a better idea of the Beatles discography, of going back through again.
Yeah.
Going through the discography, one album a week, and choosing our top 5 songs off that album, but having a different guest on for each album.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, let us know which album.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I will absolutely do that with you. And I can only speak for myself for sure, but I think Alberto would probably jump at the chance to do that as well.
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm okay with pretty much any album too.
Right on.
They're all for the most part worth talking about. You know, I don't want to do Let It Be. That's the one thing that I'll say.
Because it's the same story. You know, no matter what you talk about with Let It Be, it's the breakup album, and it's
the breakup album, and it's boring, and
it's just snippets.
Talk about the long and winding road.
Hey, careful! That's like Sean's favorite song ever.
Sorry, Sean.
I like that song. It's cool. It's cool.
It's like
everyone's got their own opinions about it. It's all
Paul
good.
McCartney is Paul is definitely by far my favorite Beatle, but that's like everything I don't like about Paul is in that song.
That's very fair. Although, man, he's got that banger Two of Us that opens the album.
Yeah, that's the best song on the album.
It is. It really is. Man, we're having many Let It Be.
Here we are. I said I didn't want to talk about it, and here we are.
Let it be.
Oh man. Yeah. God, I remember being at the comic book store back as a kid. I didn't know the Beatles records then, but I just remember, I think Phil Spector just shot that prostitute, and the comic book owner was like, yeah, you know, he produced the only bad Beatles record. And I was like, huh. And it wasn't until years later, oh, George Martin did all of them except. Interesting.
Yeah. Makes you think about maybe somebody was very important to something that was happening there. Maybe. Because I mean, Phil Spector, say what you will about the man, he's a murderer and he sucks and he's evil. But but
he held a gun to the Ramones.
He held a gun to the Ramones, but hey, I really like that album a lot. That Ramones album is great. I know that's
really?
I know that the people are mixed on that one, but I think that's one of my favorite ones. There's
some bangers on it. I'm not gonna lie, but I prefer like the live version of Rock and Roll Radio. But like what bums me out about End of the Century, really, when I think about End of the Century, I think about the return of Jack and Judy.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of a sequel song.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's fine. Yeah. That's all good.
It's like, yeah, what are my old friends Jackie and Judy up to?
Yeah. But and Jackie's a Punk is, I think, my favorite Ramones song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's perfect. It clocks in right at 2 minutes or right under 2 minutes, and it's everything you want from a Ramones song.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I mean, there's so many. I'm kind of like I'm probably Glad to See You Go is probably my favorite Ramones song.
It's very good.
The
dark humor in that is so good.
It's hard for me to like decisively come down and say what my favorite Ramones song is, but it might be that one. And there's and that's like kind of like a really classical. It's like very much a Dee Dee song. And I always really like Dee Dee. And there's a really cool version of it. I think it's called Bubblegum Mix, which is on the Leave Home 40th anniversary edition that they came out a couple years ago.
Oh,
and
awesome.
where it's like Dee Dee is singing lead, basically. Like they've turned up him really, really loud in the mix. So like Joey kind of comes through more on the chorus, but the verses are Dee Dee.
That's awesome. I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, shoot, there we are, gentlemen.
Joey, I don't think you shared anything. I know I'm stretching this. Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Okay. Well, I shout out to my dad for his 60th.
Happy birthday, week. Uncle Ken.
You know, so he turned 60, and then the lady I've been seeing, she turned an age. I don't give away ladies' ages.
You don't give away ages because you're a gentleman, or because you are robbing the cradle?
Can we say both? No, but yeah. So happy birthdays all around. Yeah. Been fun. So I'll just, because I can't think of any. I haven't really been watching much of anything except maybe The Boys and the Gigolos.
Gigolos.
Man, Gigolos is so good. Gigolos, there was a rap battle on one of the episodes I just watched. It's so fire. Anyway, there we are. Mick, where can we find you and 3 friends on the internet?
Well, I've been tweeting a lot more recently, which has never been my thing, but it's kind of my main thing now. And
it's fun, right?
It kind of, yes and no. I mean, it's a waking nightmare and it keeps me up all night because like you see, like I try to only kind of interact like in a way that is like makes me uplifts my soul, but it's impossible not to see that the world is burning down and there's a new thing every hour and
something
so,
to be angry about and something to cancel. And I
mean, and it's well, especially what with what's going on in Washington these days, you know.
Are we talking about the Supreme Court? Are we talking about COVID? Are we talking about the election?
Exactly. We're talking about somebody who is very clearly afraid that they are not going to win, and so they're going crazy.
And it's I never thought the news could be more entertaining than when that dude first took office, but man, I throw CNN and on like crazy now. I switch between all the different news stations. I'm like, well, I'm not.
Yeah.
But
I don't find it entertaining. It's like it's
horrifying.
It's giving me the agita.
Yeah.
It's keeping me up all night. It's making me like feel bad that I brought a child into the world. Like it's I don't know.
How'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, so it's very very stressful. But if you kind of like try to have fun, and that was like a thing for a while. Like it's like I didn't want to use social media to have fun for a while because it made me feel guilty for having fun when there's so many people who aren't having fun. So, and I still don't really know how I feel about that. But with that in mind, I have been kind of having fun on Twitter. And you can find that I am at 3 Friends Pod, which is, again, you spell out the 3. The 3 Friends Pod, 3friends.com. And you can find us, if you're still on Facebook, we have a Facebook group that we lightly use called the 3 Friends Go Criterion Conversation Club. Oh, and while we're at it, let me be altruistic and give somebody else a plug. My co-host, Alberto, his band is called St. Francis and the Wolf. And they have an album that's available now. It's self-titled. It's on Spotify. But also they just did a really cool live event, which you can find on YouTube. It's on a channel called Primavera Roadhouse. And they did 3 songs, and it's on this really cool stage, and it's super highly produced. And
I watched it. I was very impressed. Mm-hmm. That was so cool.
Yeah.
They're kicking ass.
Guys. Love those guys.
They are kicking ass. It's one of those things where like I guess they played pretty much their entire album at that show, and the producers of the show chose the songs, and for some reason they chose 3 slow songs. I would have chosen maybe 3 fast songs or 2 fast songs and a slow song, whatever, and I think Alberto seemed like he was like, I don't know, they chose, but it's still very good. And their album is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. Love the album.
Yeah, it is a good. Is it Super Toy? I think is the name of my favorite track.
Yeah, that's my favorite track too.
Hey, you'd think we're related or something.
It's a song about AI.
Is that
the Spielberg movie? Yeah, it's about the Spielberg movie AI. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna listen to it through that lens
now. Backstory now. Yeah.
Well, first I gotta watch AI.
It will be. Oh, you haven't seen AI?
No.
Oh, okay. If you've seen AI, then like the lyrics are, it's like, oh yeah, it's obvious that's what it's about.
Oh, okay. It's very
not,
cool.
Yeah, it's not like poetically hidden in there. It's like, oh no, it's about AI.
Nice. Right on. That's awesome. Right on. I like it. Jonathan, where can? Oh, sorry. Go for it.
I was just gonna say thanks again. Thank you for.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It was a last minute thing, but it was my pleasure to be here. And thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me continually steamroll both of you, like is what I'm doing right now.
No, dude.
Not at all. Not at all. No, we love having you on.
So, this is what we hope for with this live stuff. I think that was such a cool spur of the moment. Like, let's just get Mickey on the show. Like, why not?
Fantastic.
So, I mean, we appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, so. Very much, very much. So thank you, Jonathan.
Yes.
Where can we find more of your work on the internet this week, my friend?
Find me on Instagram at SeanDayMusic and on my website, SeanDayMusic.net. I think I have a .com somewhere, but I haven't done that yet. So it's still .net. So SeanDayMusic.net. Joey, where can we find you?
You can just find me on Twitter at Joey Prati. and my website, joyproscripts.com. And you can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. That's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube at gmail.com, and on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast. We're on Apple Music, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you, Jonathan.
Just many, many, many loves every week. I can never come up with a good one every week.
I mean, that works.
There you have it.
Loves.
Until next time, I'm Joey Parati.
I'm Sean Day.
Oh, I didn't know I got one.
I'm giving it to you.
I'm Mickey Checky.
There we go. Thanks.
For listening.
Wonderful. How do we stop being live now?
Okay. It says it stopped.
Perfect.
There you go. Sweet.